Mathew Meets, a vlog with insight. The geopolitical consequences of the rise of China with Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi.
Hello, cohorts. Today we are very much honored to have Dr. Jebamalai Vinanchiarachi with us on Mathew Meets. We were actually planning to move with our interview in the palatial Ane Resorts and Spa, a five-star hotel in the southern tip of India's mainland. But due to some climatic issues, we couldn't continue there, and now we are on the cloud. Thank you, Dr. Jebamalai, for your precious time with us. And thank you especially for your warm hospitality and the magnificence at the Palatial Hotel. So, as we are coming back to the topic, we are having a very much hot, debated topic, that is the geopolitical consequences of China's expansionism. Dr. Jebamalai is a former principal advisor to the Director General of the United Nations Industrial Development Organization. He is a well reputed author as well as an economic think tank. His theories and doctrines have been notable in the world of economics. Along with that, his contributions in creating poverty alleviation across the world during his very great career. So, Dr. Jabamalai, as China keeps on dominating the headlines of newspapers, what is gone wrong with China?
Now, the real problem with China is that China does not want to be in China. China wants to be everywhere across countries and continents. And they are able to make their presence everywhere because China is able to deliver what many countries want. And they have excellent trade relationship with many countries, and they are able to supply even high quality products at incredibly low price. Their global competitiveness is very high. They are able to penetrate. They are able to fund development projects, infrastructural projects in particular, and along with other motives. And wherever they make a presence, they really establish their military camps there. And this is what is happening. And as we know, they are vigorously implementing this One Belt to One Road project. More than 75 countries have already signed, and they are also linking the infrastructural projects funded by China in other countries, non-signatory countries, with these projects. So eventually, the aim is to ship all the resources available anywhere in the world to China at incredibly low cost. The cost of production will be low. When the cost of production is low, naturally the price competitiveness of their products will be dramatically enhanced. This is their aim. Unfortunately, wherever they create infrastructural projects, particularly in the countries which are signatories to this One Belt, One Road project, they are establishing their military base. The most recently, they negotiated with the Djibouti, which is a big surprise to me because Djibouti is known for the presence of the American military base, for allowing them to create their military base there. And what is happening there, they say that the purpose is to monitor the movement of Al-Qaeda and the people who hijack, the pirates who hijack ships. This is the purpose, they say. So every day they monitor and nothing else. But now in a place, France has also established its military base for the same purpose, monitoring the movements of Al-Qaeda. In the same country, China is able to establish its military base along with the huge investment they are making on the world's deepest port. Djibouti port is the world's deepest port, and the biggest ship can be easily anchored here. So by creating that, they are just making access to all African countries. Indications are that they are now from the Djibouti port to a very important commercial city in Kenya, around 200 kilometers from Djibouti. They are already constructing the railway line. So everywhere in Africa, wherever you go, you see Friendship Factory donated by government of China, Friendship Bridge donated by government of China, Friendship Hall, Opera Halls also donated by government of China. Eventually, what happens? They ship all their resources and leave their friends. It is going in that direction. So the ultimate aim is to, in spite of incidents of technical progress, which makes deep inroads into the competitiveness of products, the low wage cost is still, and the low cost of production is still the determinant of competitiveness. So in order to sustain the global competitiveness of their products, they are very systematically doing this across countries and continents. So China is not in China, China is everywhere. That's the real problem. They want to be everywhere, and they want to further strengthen their presence in wherever they implement projects, particularly infrastructural projects and projects related to One Road and One Belt project. Okay.
Oh, wow. With the first answer, we had got a new dimension to the geopolitical consequences of China's expansionism. And Dr. Jebamalai, let me show the next question. What is the key determinant of China's continued success in the field of economy?
A country's success in the sphere of economic development depends on the extent to which they transform the economy. You mean when a country is edging into a high degree of industrialization, the share of manufacturing in GDP and the share of manufacturing in employment will increase. And within manufacturing, there will be a dramatic structural shift from labor intensive products to medium, high tech, and sophisticated products. If you just ask one simple question, what is the share of the medium, high tech, and sophisticated products in the global manufacturing value added and in global manufacturing trade? They account for more than 78%. And China's average is more than that. China's performance is more than the world average. These products, I can ask a simple question. If these products, high-tech products and highly sophisticated products account for nearly 80% of global manufacturing value added and trade in manufactures, global trade in manufactures, the question is, you want to be part of the global reality or out of context? And China's share, China's the share of the medium, high-tech, and sophisticated products in their own global manufacturing value added is more than the world average. In their own manufacturing value added is more than the world average. And then the share of these products in global manufactured exports, I mean, their exports, their own exports is also above the global average. So because of the dramatic structural change they are able to achieve, they are able to transform the society and the economy. Now, in many countries, it happened. It happened in the first and second generations of newly industrializing countries and even emerging economies. But some countries like Bangladesh, Nepal, Sri Lanka, these countries continue to be super exporters of garments. The type of structural transformation which took place in China did not take place in countries which are doing extremely well in labor-intensive products. So that's why they are not able to achieve structural transformation within manufacturing. But China originally started with the labor-intensive products in the 14 coastal cities. Now they shifted from labor-intensive products to the highly sophisticated products which dominate the global trade. Yeah, this is the reason why China could achieve rapid economic transformation.
Now, China has been turbulently creating issues in the world. It is roaring as if a sea wave. And now, what are the aggressive means of China's continued expansionism over countries and territories, including continents?
Aggressive means are actually very clear. Along with their trade links, trade-related projects, they are able to establish their military base. Take the example of what they are doing in the South China Sea. Um, and they create artificial islands. When they create artificial islands, their right to the sea water is really extended. So, and they create artificial islands. In those islands, they create a military base. This is what they are doing. That's why many developed countries are sending their warship there, just to give a clear signal to China, saying that you cannot expand like this. So but their argument is, if you look at by convention and tradition, they have been using these islands, and they own everything. South China Sea belongs to them. This is what they say. For the centuries, they were using it. No one questioned it. Now that they create artificial islands and further expand their right to the sea water, they are able to penetrate, and they are just even able to buy some countries as a silence on the issue, saying that we will come and invest a lot, and we will diversify your economy, we will do this and that. So some countries listen, some countries don't listen. Philippines is against it. Singapore is totally against it. Malaysia is against it. Australia, a big power in the region, always expressing its disapproval of the way China implements its aggressive attitude, aggressive expansion. Djibouti is keeping quiet. Indications are that they have promised a lot of things. Now they are actually investing. They are trying to capture small island states like Fiji and Vanuatu. In Vanuatu, I heard that recently they constructed a huge hall at a very high cost, billions of dollars spent, and the complete waste is a debt investment. But they want to make their presence there. They said they would maintain it, and they told the government of Vanuatu should not worry about the cost of running that one. So this is how they capture. They make their presence there. So this is a very, very dangerous thing, and America has already sent its warship, and some other countries, a few other countries. Most of the countries express their disapproval. And if this is the trend, there will be a lot of tension. There will be a lot of tension created by this type of aggressive expansion. I put it like that. Yeah.
So now, coming to the main topic, to the heart of the topic, what are the real consequences of China's geopolitical conquests?
Expansion. Because people, the countries are deeply concerned everywhere. If they make the presence, and they actually the real how they make this country, some countries fall into the so-called aid trap diplomacy. They trap them. They drag them into they give them a lot of money as loan, and the countries are not able to repay. When they are not able to repay, they just acquire their land. Take the land for 99 years. Take the example of Sri Lanka. They are creating the China port now there in Sri Lanka. They say they will create another Dubai. People don't have to go to Dubai for buying duty-free shop. Now, once it is completed, I am sure many from the Asian countries, particularly Asian countries, they all will go to that one. Sri Lanka is a paradise. And now they will have control. They were able to do it by making China and Sri Lanka fall into the debt trap diplomacy, giving lot of money at relatively high rate of interest, and countries are not able to pay. When they are not able to pay, they acquire their land. This is a very, very bad thing, causing lot of geopolitical related concerns. Yeah.
If situation continues to be the same, will China eventually create a new United Nations organization comprising of the pro-Chinese countries?
Okay. Now, they may not call it a new United Nations, but they are definitely capable of creating an international organization, very effective international organization, comprising pro-China countries. Already, so many countries have signed, for the big project, One Road, One Belt project, and they will all support them. And then they will be able to get other countries also. and under their leadership, and China may be able to fund the entire operation of the new one. It's quite possible that they create some form of new United Nations and run their show and demonstrate their global supremacy with the help of these countries. And what will happen, these countries will not antagonize countries like India. I would put it like this, China is like a dragon, okay? Countries like India is a big elephant. India is a big elephant making slow steps, you know. So what will happen, these countries, all pro-China countries, which may eventually become members of that so-called envisaged new international organization, will dance with the dragon and they will walk with India. You walk with the elephant. I will put it like that. Dancing with the dragon and walking with the elephant. This may eventually happen. This is quite possible. One cannot rule out that possibility. Yeah.
Once a hegemon does not mean to be a hegemon always. What are the ways that we can constrain China's growth? How to contain the growth of China's expansionism?
It's very easy. Give them clear signals. I think I will be very happy if all developed countries join together and emerging countries in the developing area join together and openly recognize, legally recognize the Taiwan province of China, Hong Kong, and Tibet as independent states, newly created independent states. That will give you a clear signal to China. That means we will not keep quiet and please stop your aggressive expansion. I think this is the only way, this is the only language China may understand. It may not understand any other language. But economically, they are very powerful. And in terms of the competitiveness of their products, equally powerful, very powerful. So one cannot, in fact, afford to ignore China, you know, because what is happening, eventually what happens, if a country is able to produce high quality products complying with international standards and quality control norms, and able to sell it at incredibly low price, naturally the whole world will buy. Eventually they will buy that. So they will sustain their the so-called global competitiveness. And armed with a lot of money, this amount of money they spend on R&D, 4% of GDP. And in terms of absolute number, in terms of absolute numbers, it is huge money, trillions of dollars spent on R&D. And they are also encouraging the private sector um, involvement in R&D and innovation, corporate in R&D and innovation. Many countries are actually pumping money. Take the example of India. It is spending less than 1% of their GDP compared to China. It is more than 4%. And in terms of absolute numbers, it's low what we spend. And we are concentrating on public sector enterprises. In what is happening in India is institutionalized inactivity and R&D and innovation. Many scientists and we have many scientists and engineers who join public institutions. Very often they are no longer researchers, no longer scientists. You know, they are supervisors and supervisors. This is called institutionalized inactivity in R&D and in innovation. Institutionalized inactivity in R&D and innovation, because we have engineers, we have scientists, we have fantastic experts, and very often they work for public institutions as researchers, and the research intensity is low, and the extent to which we transform research findings into products, you know, in an ideal innovation system, the research findings get the patents registered, and all these products which obtained patents are commercialized. That is not happening. So if you look at the state of research findings in many developing countries, they all turned out to be debt investment. I know one country, Sudan, the National Center for Research on Medicinal and Aromatic Plants, invented the extract of a rare, the wild plant which grows everywhere in the desert. You don't water, you don't manure, you don't plant also, it grows. And through the traditional knowledge, by conducting research on traditional and medical knowledge and medical practices, the research institute managed to find this truth that the extract from the leaf of that wild plant can heal the open wound of diabetic patients. The market is to the tune of $50 billion a year. Now, they are not able to commercialize it for want of technical assistance and business support services. But here, China is actually encouraging the R&D and innovation with the private corporations, private sector. And once new things are discovered, they facilitate the process of getting the patents registered, and very quickly they commercialize also. So this is amazing. It is worthy of appreciation, to be honest. It's worthy of appreciation. So such a thing is not happening elsewhere.
This country, on its means to development, should be really appreciated on every ground, and its turbulent hegemonicity should be contained and shall be restricted in order to create a peaceful world with serenity. Indeed, Dr. Jebamalai, your precious insights create a holistic view of being an empirical side, and rather than being just stereotypic viewpoints shooting on China regularly, this had created a difference indeed of a new dimension. Thank you, Dr. Jebamalai. I will definitely thrive to meet you in the new episodes, especially on the dimensions of India's economy and politics. Thank you very much.
Yeah, okay. I'm very happy that I got a great opportunity through my very good friend, Mr. Ram Kamal. And I appreciate Mathew also for interviewing me. I was particularly overwhelmed by his enthusiasm in spite of his handicap. You know, he was so fluent in asking questions, and I have profound sense of satisfaction that I could have one serious technical sitting with this great boy, and who is bubbling with intelligence, and whose quest for knowledge is unparalleled. Thank you very much. Okay.